everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Asipeklas and this is New Foundation. So if you're here for the first time, please subscribe and join the New Foundation family. I promise it is awesome over here. You won't regret it. And if you are returning or welcome back, I'm so excited to have you guys here. So today, as you can see, there are two of us. We're doing like a Zoom call because, with COVID-19 and everything, my friend and I are in remote locations, so we couldn't do the video at the same time. So we're hoping that it's not going to be too bad. If you guys notice a few, glitches here and there, please bear with us. We're trying. Technology is, sometimes it's man's worst enemy. So please bear with us. And yeah, so today I have my friend Simon, and he's gonna help me with this video because I feel like he has such amazing ideas when it comes to this specific topic. And I'm hoping that he's gonna impart something and he's gonna add a little something, to make the video that much more special. I worked with Simon before on a few things, one of them being a podcast that we recently did. I will link it in the description box so that you guys can go check it out because it is so awesome. And yeah, fam, you can actually mute yourself and you can introduce yourself. Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, fam?
No, I'm good. Cannot complain. Just been chilling.
Just been chilling.
Yeah.
Okay. So, can you please tell us what is the one, what is the one album that, you really are vibing to right now? Like, what's your favorite album at the moment?
At the moment, I would say I've been mostly listening to Maverick City. I can't pinpoint an album per se. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite song from Maverick City or?
Yes. I've got a favorite song. It's called Awesome God. That's been my song. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna be Promises because everyone loves Promises, but yeah.
Yeah, I like that one, but not as much as I love Awesome God.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, my favorite one is Lean Back at the moment. I feel like it tops everything. It literally tops everything. But okay, thank you so much for coming onto the channel and sharing your insights on what we're gonna talk about. So on today's video, we are gonna talk about purpose. We're gonna talk about the myth of purpose. Basically, that's what we're going to talk about, and we're going to try and bust a few myths when it comes to purpose, life purpose, finding your purpose, that type of stuff, because we've noticed that a lot of people, especially young people, but not limited to, but especially young people, struggle with figuring out their purpose. Like, what am I supposed to do with my life? I just don't know. I'm so stressed, and it can actually cause so much anxiety. It can cause so much stress, so much anxiety, so much fear. So we're hoping to share our own experiences and how and basically our outlooks on purpose now. And we're hoping that in that way it will help you guys, or it will help whoever it is that might be struggling or dealing with the same things that we have dealt with at different, points of our lives. So yeah, that's basically what we're going to talk about. Did you want to add anything else, fam?
No, not at all. We can begin.
Okay, we can start. Okay, cool. So just I just want us to have a conversation because I don't want it to be too formal. I don't want it to be weird. I just want us to have a conversation. So tell me, what is the one common myth when it comes to purpose or finding your purpose as a person?
I think the most common myth for both myself and the people around me, especially like you said, young people have had these conversations, have experienced these type of instances in life where you start questioning what's my purpose. So the common thread in that that I've realized that usually come up a lot is and just the perspective actually around purpose is that a lot of us actually think it's a destination thing rather. We always think there's a certain destination that we're going to reach, and then we're going to realize our purpose in life, and then we're going to start living it out then. So that's the myth that I've found myself, believing in, as well as other people around me, because at that point you do not realize that it's actually a journey thing. It's not about a destination. Like it's a journey lived day by day. That's what purpose is all about. So whether you don't know it or you know it, but you're still living in it because you're discovering it throughout. So I don't think there's ever a time where you'll be like, okay, cool, once I get to this place, then I'm going to have my purpose. Like, you have to discover it throughout the journey.
Thank you so much, fam. That's so true. Like, that's something I also struggled with. That's something I definitely struggled with, especially in my walk. Like, because I don't think I really thought about, my purpose much before I got saved. Like, for me, like, purpose and everything, like the stress really started to kick in after I got saved. And it was like, okay, what is my purpose now? What was I created to do? And I also fell into the same trap where I thought that, my purpose was this big event. I thought it was this destination that I had to get to, or, like I had to figure out what it was. And in the minute that I figured out what it was, then everything was sorted from there. And it's like, no, that's actually not the case. Like, that's literally not the case. Purpose is not like a destination or like a one-time event. And that's one of the biggest lies. It's one of the biggest traps when it comes to purpose, is thinking that your purpose is this one, it's this climax of something, or it's this, so yeah, thank you so much for bringing that up, because that's actually something that a lot of people deal with. That's something that a lot of people go through, myself included. So yeah, I don't know, like, fam, do you like have a story, or would you share, like, other than obviously the you've already shared that one of the things that you also, the myth, I guess, of purpose was the whole big event or destination thing, but do you have like something that you'd like to share about, like, some type of like difficulty that you have faced, or something that's been like a point of anxiety really when it comes to purpose, or like if you have a story to share about a time where yeah, whatever. I hope you get what I mean. I was trying to phrase that correctly. It just kind
Yes. I think my biggest challenge has been pinpointing it, saying that, what is my purpose? It's supposed to be like this. So if for example, if I believe that my purpose is to be a poet in life, then I'm going to just think that, whatever I do has to be centered around purpose. But I actually realized that that's not the case. How purpose manifests. It manifests in different forms, right? But the goal, the mission behind that stays the same. Because I had a mentor of mine, give me a perfect example when it comes, to purpose. When it comes to purpose, and he mentioned that he gave me a comparison of water now and water back in the days, maybe like 2 centuries back. He said, like, water 2 centuries back and water in the present, it's still water. It does not change. It still has the same formula, but then the way water was served then and the way it is served now is totally different. So people maybe used to drink water back in the days in the palm of their hands, and they used to drink it maybe from a bowl, but now, we serve it in bottles, these fancy bottles, they design, all of that. So, but the thing is, the essence, it still remains water. So I think that was one of my biggest challenges, to say that it's not one specific thing. It may manifest in different forms, but the goal, the mission will still be the same.
Yo, fam, thank you for actually bringing up that example. It's so crazy. Like, as you are actually talking about water and how I'm even thinking of the functions of water, like back then, compared to the functions of water now. Like, back then, water would have probably to drink and to probably bath with. But now we use water for electricity, we use water for sewage. So its functions are so different. Like its functions are different, but at the end of the day, it's still water. The purpose is still the same. So it's like it just manifests in different ways and functions are different. And I actually recently, like I read something and it was talking about how your purpose is it's connected to who you are basically. So like your characteristics, like who you are, like your character basically, like your purpose is most of the time tied to that. So it's like those things that you are really good at or those things that come naturally to you, those are usually the things that are like that are tied together with your purpose. Like an example would be if you are like a helper by nature, like if you're those that love helping, that love. So I feel like your purpose would be tied to that. Maybe you start volunteering at a shelter, volunteering at, an old age home. So it's like your purpose, like we said, is not this huge event. It manifests itself in different ways and it's usually tied into you, like the essence of who you are as a person. So Nam, I struggled a lot with the confusion of purpose because I was like, okay, I don't understand what I was put here for, and I don't really understand how to go about finding this. And it's only now that I've started realizing the more that I walk this journey, because like I said, now I only started thinking about purpose after I got saved. So that's why everything that I'm going to say is literally going to be tied to my journey with God. But it's like in walking in this journey that I've actually realized that the things that I'm naturally good at is what I feel as though God has, made me for. Like, I know I'm a person who, like, I can't stand unfairness, if you could put it like that. So like and like it literally triggers me so much, and I'm very vocal. That's the thing about everything that I feel. I'm extremely vocal. I don't keep my opinions to myself most of the time. So the profession that I'm going in, and like I'm going into law, that requires a lot of speaking. It requires a lot of convincing. It's a lot of about justice and all of that. So, and I think of how I actually came to studying law. Like I never had any intentions of studying law. I remember there used to be people even back in high school who used to be like, I said, you should study law. Like, you should study law. But I'd be like, no, no, thank you. Like I was like, I think I wanted to study economics even. Like I was like dead set. And it's so crazy, like how I ended up, studying law. Like you could literally see God's hand in it. So it's those things that are you. It's really the essence of who you are. And the more you walk and the more you are connected to your creator is when you're going to understand what you are created for. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say. And yeah, fam, did you have anything else that you wanted to add before we go to the next point?
Yeah, I just wanted to add something that you mentioned there. Just how you came to to study law. Like it wasn't even your intention to begin with, but you just found yourself in this place where it so happened that you started studying law. And the same for me when I was hearing that, it literally reminded me of a story I read in the Bible, a story of Saul, because you mentioned that our purpose is tied to who we inherently are, and like we can never run away from that. So even if you did not know that you were supposed to be studying law, some way somehow you will find yourself in a place where you will be doing what you're called to do. So the same thing in the story was when Saul, his father had lost his livestock, and then Saul was sent out with a worker to go look for this livestock, and then they went searching from town to town, and they could not find this livestock. And then the worker then suggested they go into a town where there was a prophet, and the prophet would then tell them where the livestock could possibly be. But upon arriving in that town, there was a different turnout of events as to what they had expected. So Saul ended up being crowned as the king of the Israelites at the time, but he did not know it. He did not even expect it. He just went in. he thought he was going to get his father's livestock. And in that story, it really shows how God is so powerful in a way that even when we do not know, he still leads us onto a path that gets us to where he wants us to be, even if we're not conscious of it, even if we have strayed away. But if he desires that, we will end up on that path again.
Definitely, fam. Like, definitely. And also to like conclude on that before we move on to the next point. To conclude on that, what? Actually, let me leave this to the last point because I feel like it ties into the last point.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you give someone who, was, like we've talked about all of this stuff. We brought up like the myths and everything else. But if, say, for example, I'm a person who I still don't understand what my purpose is, and I've heard and I've received all this information that you've given and everything. So what do I do now? Like, what is the step forward? How do I begin aligning myself, I guess? What do I do basically? Like, I've heard everything that you've had, like you've said right now. But what do I do? Like, what's the next step now? I've received all this amazing revelation and information, but what do I do
now? For me, to begin with, you have to start searching from within, because God created everyone on this earth uniquely, and everyone has a certain gift. Everyone has a certain talent that manifests in its own way. So we have to start searching for those things. Say, what is it that God has given me that I can use to to basically progress in life and find fulfillment, because at the end of the day, that's the reason why he has placed those things in our hearts, because we need to find fulfillment in that and not feel like life is a drag, like life is just all about fighting, but to actually find happiness and fulfillment in that. So I'll say the first thing is to start searching within, and then secondly, keep on leaning into God, like, because over time, like we had mentioned in the beginning, the manifestation of purpose changes, right? So you have to constantly be in touch with God, because what is required of you this season might be different to what is required of you in the next season. So you constantly have to be leaning into God's word, into his promises, so that you can constantly be getting fed that information, because sometimes what might seem to be viable for you now has an expiration date. So once it's past that date, it begins to frustrate you. So some people, they get so frustrated that they become lost. Then they start wondering, by God, I thought this was the one thing that you had given me as a purpose, without knowing that the time has come to an end. It's time for me to transition into something else that God has prepared me for that next season. So I'll encourage like constant communication with God, and just leaning into what he says.
Yes, fam. That's like spot on. Literally, that's spot on. That I don't even know. Like, do I even say anything after that? Like, it's spot on. We constantly have to be, connected to God, especially because, as you said, something that might be, for you in this season might not necessarily be for you in the next season. And while, like, when you are rooted in God, you don't hold on to things that you need to let go of. So yeah, definitely. And another thing as well, what was I going to say? I had this point that I wanted to make. Oh my word, I think I forgot. Okay, cool. But another thing is that, oh yes, I found it. Like we actually previously mentioned, your purpose is not just one thing. Like, it's not going to be one like thing specifically where it's all going to look the same. Like, it might manifest itself in a career, like I was saying, like, I'm studying law right now, and I feel like I need to reach, that's how I will further the kingdom with my degree, getting justice, all of that other good stuff. But at the same time, like, I can sing, those are two different things, but I'm in the choir. Like, So that's like a different like way also of living out my purpose as well. That's like completely different to me doing law. At the same time, I lead home cell at my church. So it's like those are different things, but it's all in the same journey. I'm still living my purpose. So to be a home cell leader, to be like a choir member, to be like part of the bar. Like it's like all these things are so different when you like look at them. They're so different. Literally, they're so different. But they are in my purpose because in that I'm still reaching. Because I feel like I feel like our purpose really is like I'll speak for myself as a saved person and the Christian body is to reach people for God. It's to further the kingdom of God. So for
Yeah.
me, my purpose and how that manifests in different ways, obviously, like because of who I am as a person and what my part, the part that I play in that. So like it manifests in different ways, and like in all these weird, not weird, but in all these different ways that I play my part, they are part of my purpose. As different as they all are, they're part of my purpose. So your purpose might not necessarily look like the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. It's going to be different because you're going into different channels and you are reaching people in different ways, and you are walking your purpose in different ways. So yeah, that's just the bit that I wanted to add. Like, don't don't like what I would say is don't be so stressed about finding that one thing or getting to that big event, or and you actually said something, fam, that was so profound. You were like, because when you're so focused on the end result, you don't really enjoy the journey on the way there. And the sad part about that is that you're so focused on this end goal that doesn't exist, that it can get to a point where all you're doing is that you're on this journey and you're seeking something that literally doesn't exist, and you didn't even enjoy this journey on the way there, which would be really, really, really sad. Because so it's not a big event, it's a journey. You live out your purpose every day. You live out your purpose in the consistencies of everyday life, literally. And oh my word, I just thought of another thing that you actually said in a previous conversation that ties in with this. We were talking about how God gives you a language. I want you to actually speak more about that. You actually said something about God giving us a language, which I
Yeah.
feel is part of your purpose. God gives you a specific language that you need to communicate, with people. So yeah, let me just let you actually talk about it because you said it so profoundly.
Yeah, it is something that you mentioned. You mentioned that our ultimate purpose is to reach people through what has been given to us by God. And for me, I just like fell in love with reading, dissecting the Bible, and really just like absorbing all the wisdom that it has, because it has stood the test of time. And one of the most amazing stories that I've recently read through was when the disciples were in the upper room, and then the Holy Spirit descended, and it is said that there were a fire of tongues that were imparted upon them, and then they started speaking different languages. But the most amazing and fascinating thing was that the language they were actually speaking was foreign to the disciples, but then the people who were around, the crowd, could actually relate to that language, could actually understand what the disciples were uttering at that moment through the power of the Holy Spirit. And what I took from that is basically God gives us a language that enables us to speak to people, to reach people, and to make people see and understand what is God all about, and his promises, his plans, and generally just like his wonder and how awesome he is. So yeah, God does give us a personal language in our lives for each and every person. So you just have to dig deep and find out like what is that personal language for myself that I can use to reach people, so that people can understand what I'm saying about God. People who are extremely talented, like when you do that one thing that people just like, they are awestruck and it's like, geez, how do you even do that? That is God. That is God's language. That is the language that He has given you, because people see it's something that is to a certain extent abnormal. It's like, yo, the way you play football or the way you sing is a bit extraordinary to the normal person that we see on a day-to-day basis. So you are extraordinarily given this ability. So that's the thing. It's a language that God is actually using, because people can see that, wow, this person has been blessed with that, at an increased measure. So that's God's language of speaking to people and reaching to people and reminding them that same thing that they are in awe of, that same thing can also be applied to me in a different way. I can also get that thing just in a different manner.
Yes. So basically, God gives you the language of your purpose. He gives you your language for your purpose. So yeah, like I feel like there's nothing else that you say after that. He gives you the language of your purpose. Like He gives you the language that you need to speak and reach the people that you need to reach, which is like our purpose. So He gives you what you need to do what you gotta do. And I think that's amazing. I think that's amazing. And it's really it's not something that we should have so much anxiety over. Like, it's not something that we should be so anxious about. Stay close to the Creator. Stay close to the Creator. That's how you'll understand why you were created. Literally, like there's no other way. Like He reveals your purpose to you the deeper you go in Him, the more you walk. It's not even something that you should stress about. It's not even something that you should be so, tightly strung about. Stay close to your Creator and He will tell you. Like, I remember, I don't even remember where I heard or read this, but it was an example, and they were like, you imagine if you gave people from like the medieval times a cell phone. If you gave them like an iPhone, they would probably use it as a brick. I don't know. They would use it for all these different things that weren't, what it was supposed to be used for, because they don't understand. And because, you get what I mean? So to understand the value and the purpose of something, you need to get to its creator. To understand why the iPhone was created, we need the creator of the iPhone to tell us what he created it for. So in order for you to understand and to know and to live and to walk in your purpose, you need to get, in touch with the creator of your purpose, because like our purpose is God's purpose, basically. Like our purpose is literally God's purpose, literally in scripture. Like He gives us the desires of our hearts. Like our purpose is from God. So in order for us to understand what that purpose is, we need to get to know God. We need to get in touch with God. So yeah, that's basically all we wanted to share. Did you want to say anything else, Bam, to wrap things up? Or
yeah, we can close it off. I just wanted to say that, this one quote I heard that was super amazing, and this guy was saying, there's no eternity from here, right? we actually are living in eternity, because if we see eternity as being in the future, then the future will certainly become history, and that's not what eternity is all about. So we are actually living in eternity right now. When we pass on, we just transition into a different phase of that eternity, but we're actually living in eternity now. So it's the same thing as purpose. Like, it's not an event at the end of the day. We don't get to it. We're actually living through it now as we proceed with our lives.
Yeah, definitely, fam. Thank you for that. That was I've never heard that before. Thank you so much for, like I said, he's gonna put his little, and make this episode all that much more special. But guys, I'm so happy. Like I'm so glad, man. I'm so happy that we could have this conversation, and we're hoping that it's gonna help someone out. We're hoping that it's gonna shed light on it's going to shed light on, you know, maybe something that you've been going through, and it's going to help you understand and, you know, ease a burden. And yeah, guys, like from us, we're so grateful. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Please subscribe, please like, please share the video, you know, join the notifications gang so that you can know every time I post something. And yeah, guys, it's been so good, it's been so amazing. Please stay safe, stay at home until we are just done with this whole COVID-19 situation. And yeah, from me to you, bye.
Peace.